Have you ever wondered why, despite everything you do, she seems to lose interest? Maybe you've planned the perfect date, made her laugh, and still, something feels off. What if I told you that 99% of men overlook a simple yet powerful key to unlocking her heart? And what if mastering this one thing could completely change your love life? Stick around, because in today's video, we're diving deep into 10 timeless pieces of advice from none other than Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and philosopher, that will help you understand not just women, but yourself, and how to be the kind of man she truly desires. Make sure to hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up, because trust me, what you're about to learn could be a game changer. And watch till the end, because once you unlock this, your approach to attraction will never be the same. Now, you might be wondering, what does a Roman emperor from centuries ago have to do with dating today? Well, Marcus Aurelius wasn't just any emperor. He was a Stoic philosopher, known for his wisdom and understanding of human nature. His teachings are about mastering yourself, controlling your emotions, and becoming a person of strength and integrity. And guess what? These principles are exactly what women find irresistibly attractive in men. Today, we'll go through 10 life-changing lessons from Marcus Aurelius that, when applied to your dating life, will not only make you stand out, but also help you understand what women are really looking for. The truth is, attraction isn't about flashy gestures or having a perfect six-pack. It's about who you are inside and how you carry yourself. 1. Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one. Alright, picture this. You're sitting with your buddies, and the conversation turns to dating. You start debating what women want. Maybe she wants a guy with money, or maybe it's the bad boy, or maybe it's the sensitive artist. Sound familiar? But here's what Marcus Aurelius, one of the wisest men in history, would tell you: stop wasting time overthinking it. Instead, focus on being the kind of man you'd admire. A man who has his own values, goals, and purpose in life. Let me ask you this. Have you ever felt like you're just trying to check off a list of what women want? And yet, no matter how much you try, it still feels like something is missing? That's because real attraction isn't about being what you think she wants. It's about being the best version of yourself. The kind of man who isn't just pretending to be confident, but truly knows who he is and what he stands for. That's magnetic. I bet if you think back on a time when you really clicked with someone, it wasn't because you were trying to be someone else. It's because you were just being yourself, unapologetically. Women pick up on that. So stop asking, what do women want? And start asking yourself, am I living in a way that makes me proud? When you embody that strength, that integrity, she feel it without you having to say a word. And if you're wondering how to start, it's simpler than you think. Start with small steps, stick to your commitments. Pursue your passions and be kind not just to her, but to everyone around you. This isn't just about dating. This is about becoming the kind of man who naturally attracts the right kind of partner. Women can tell when you're confident in who you are, and that's way more attractive than any flashy date or expensive gift. 2. The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. Have you ever gone into a date already expecting it to fail? You're sitting there nervous, overthinking every move, wondering if you're saying the right thing. Before the night's even started, you've already convinced yourself that she's not going to like you. And guess what? That mindset is going to show up in your body language, your conversation, and the way you interact with her. But let's flip the script for a moment. What if, instead of expecting failure, you walked in with a different mindset? What if, instead of asking yourself, will she like me? You told yourself, I'm going to enjoy getting to know this person, and we'll see where it goes. That small shift in your thinking can make all the difference. And that's exactly what Marcus Aurelius is talking about here. Your happiness, your success, even in dating, depends on the quality of your thoughts. Think about this for a second. When you're feeling good, when you're confident and positive, doesn't everything just flow better? Conversations are smoother and you're more relaxed. Women notice that vibe. It's not about tricking yourself into thinking you're amazing. It's about believing that you are worth getting to know, and that your time and attention are valuable. Now, let's get real for a moment. I know it's not easy to control your thoughts, especially if you've been hurt before. Maybe you've been ghosted, or someone you like didn't feel the same way. That can mess with your head. But here's the truth. The only thing you can control is what goes on inside your mind. You can't control how she feels about you, but you can control how you feel about yourself. So focus on that. Every time you catch yourself thinking negatively, ask yourself, is this thought helping me or hurting me? You'd be surprised how much your thoughts shape your reality. And when you approach dating with a positive, confident mindset, she feel that energy and she'd be more likely to respond to it. 3. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength. Let me take you back to a time when you felt like things were completely out of your control. Maybe you planned the perfect date, but she canceled at the last minute. Or maybe she stopped responding to your texts, and you were left wondering what went wrong. The only thing you can truly control is your own mind. Think about it. You can't force someone to feel a certain way about you. You can't make her text you back or change her mind if she's not interested. But what you can control is how you react to those situations. They had great chemistry, but then, out of nowhere, she started pulling away. He focused on himself, kept his cool, and didn't let her distance affect his confidence. A few weeks later, she reached out again, and they ended up working things out. So, next time something doesn't go as planned, remember this: you have power over your mind. Don't let external events dictate your happiness or self-worth. Women are attracted to men who can handle life's ups and downs with grace. It shows emotional strength and maturity, which is far more appealing than someone who freaks out at the first sign of trouble. Keep this in mind, control your reactions, and you'll project a calm, collected energy that women will find irresistible. Let's dive into something every guy has experienced at some point. You're talking to someone you're really into, and suddenly she stops texting as much. Maybe she pulls back or seems distant. Panic sets in. You start overanalyzing every interaction, wondering what went wrong, replaying your conversations in your head. It's a natural reaction, but what if you approached it differently? Marcus Aurelius teaches that it's not what happens to you that defines you. It's how you react to it. And let me tell you, this is where most guys trip up in dating. When things don't go the way they expect, they get needy, insecure, or even angry. But here's the truth: women notice how you handle these moments. They're often testing to see how confident and secure you are in yourself. If you start chasing her harder or getting anxious, it can be a major turnoff. Here's a story that illustrates this perfectly. I knew a guy who was seeing this girl, and things were going well. But then, out of the blue, she started acting cold. Instead of freaking out, he took Marcus's advice to heart. He didn't react emotionally or try to force things. He gave her space and didn't let her pullback affect his mood or his self-esteem. A few weeks later, she came back, and things picked up where they left off. Why? Because he stayed calm and confident. His reaction, or rather, his lack of overreaction, showed her that he wasn't dependent on her validation. So, next time you feel like something is slipping through your fingers, pause. Take a step back. Ask yourself, how can I respond to this situation with strength and confidence? Instead of letting fear or insecurity guide your actions, show her that you're the kind of man who can handle anything life throws your way. When you react with calmness and control, you stand out from 99% of guys, and that's when real attraction builds. 5. Reject your sense of injury, and the injury itself disappears. Let's talk about rejection. Have you ever been in a situation where you gathered all your courage, asked her out, and she said no? Or worse, she ghosted you, leaving you with no explanation at all. It feels like a punch in the gut, right? You start questioning yourself, am I not good enough? What did I do wrong? It's hard not to feel hurt. But Marcus Aurelius gives us a piece of wisdom that can change how we see rejection. Reject your sense of injury, and the injury itself disappears? Think about that for a moment. The pain we feel when we're rejected doesn't come from the rejection itself, it comes from how we interpret it. It's not that she said no, it's that we feel like we've been wounded, like it's a reflection of our worth. But what if we looked at it differently? What if we saw rejection not as a sign that something's wrong with us, but as simply a mismatch? Just because one person doesn't feel the same way doesn't mean we're any less valuable. Let me share a quick story. I had a friend who was really into this girl. He asked her out and she politely declined. At first, he was crushed. He couldn't stop thinking about what he did wrong. But then he remembered Marcus's advice. He realized that her rejection didn't define him. She wasn't rejecting him as a person. She just wasn't the right match for him at that moment. By shifting his mindset, he moved on quickly, and guess what? A few months later, he met someone else who was a much better fit. He didn't let that rejection hold him back. So next time you face rejection, try to reject your sense of injury. It's not personal. It's just life telling you that this isn't the right path. And once you let go of the pain, you'll find that it no longer controls you. The faster you move on, the quicker you'll be open to new, better opportunities. And trust me, that kind of resilience is incredibly attractive. 6. The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury. Have you ever been hurt by someone, maybe? A girl you were seeing and your first instinct was to get even? Maybe she canceled on you last minute? Or she wasn't as into the relationship as you thought she was. It stings, right? And in that moment, you might want to make her feel the way she made you feel. But Marcus Aurelius teaches us something powerful. The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury. What does that mean? It means that instead of sinking to her level, the best thing you can do is rise above it. Think about it. How often have you seen people get into petty arguments or play games just to get back at someone? Does that ever really work? Or does it just make things messy, eh? Marcus's advice here is golden. When someone wrongs you, don't respond by hurting them back. Instead, be the bigger person. Show them that their actions won't drag you down. This isn't just about revenge. It's about maintaining your dignity and self-respect. Let me tell you about a friend of mine. He was dating a girl who started pulling away. Instead of being direct, she began canceling plans and giving him the cold shoulder. He was upset and thought about ignoring her texts or canceling on her last minute to show her how it feels. But instead, he took a deep breath and remembered that he didn't want to play games. He stayed kind, honest, and true to himself. And you know what? In the end, she realized her mistake and apologized. He didn't need to stoop to her level. His calm, mature response spoke volumes. Here's the takeaway. When someone hurts you, don't let their behavior change who you are. Be the man who can rise above pettiness. Women notice that kind of emotional strength. Instead of reacting with anger or spite, respond with grace and confidence. That's how you set yourself apart. Not only will she respect you more, but you'll also respect yourself. And trust me, that's worth more than any short-term satisfaction from revenge. 7. Do not act as if you were going to live 10,000 years. Death hangs over you. While you live, while it is in your power, be good. Here's something we don't think about often: time. How many of us live as if we have all the time in the world? We hold back in relationships, waiting for the perfect moment to express how we feel, to commit, or even to be our true selves. But what if Marcus Aurelius is right? What if we don't have forever? Death hangs over you, he says. It sounds heavy, but his point is simple. Life is short, so don't waste time pretending. Be good, be real, and live authentically now. Think about your love life for a moment. Have you ever hesitated to open up to someone because you were scared of getting hurt? Or maybe you were waiting for the right time to show her the real you. But here's the truth. Time is the most precious thing we have. If you keep holding back, you might miss out on something amazing. I know guys who've waited too long to make a move or tell a girl how they felt, only to find out she moved on. Don't let that be your story. I remember a guy who had been dating a girl for months, but he kept things casual because he didn't want to rush into anything. One day, she told him she was moving to another city, and he realized he'd never really let her know how much she meant to him. He missed his chance. If he'd just been honest from the start, things might have been different. Here's the lesson: stop waiting. Don't act like you have all the time in the world. If you feel something, say it. If you're into someone, show it. Live with intention. Be the kind of man who doesn't play games or hold back. Women appreciate honesty, vulnerability, and authenticity. And in the end, even if things don't work out, you'll have no regrets because you lived fully and gave it your all. That's what true strength looks like. 8. Confine yourself to the present. Let me ask you something. How often are you truly present when you're with her? When you're out on a date, is your mind focused on the moment? Or are you thinking ahead, wondering where this is going? What you'll say next, or if she's really into you? Or maybe you're replaying past mistakes in your head, afraid that history will repeat itself. Marcus Aurelius tells us something incredibly powerful. Confine yourself to the present. In other words, stop living in the past or the future. Be here right now. Think about how much anxiety we create for ourselves by worrying about things that haven't happened yet, or things that are long gone. Women can feel when you're not fully present. It's in your body language, your eye contact, even the way you listen. If you're distracted, she notices, and it'll make her feel like you're not really there with her. But when you're fully in the moment, listening, engaging, showing genuine interest, that's when real connections happen. Let me tell you about a guy I know. He used to go on dates and constantly worry about how things would go. He was always thinking, is this going to lead to something serious? Will she like me enough for a second date? But once he started practicing being present, just enjoying the date for what it was, without worrying about the outcome, something changed. His conversations flowed more naturally, and he found that women responded better to him because he was truly there. So next time you're with someone, try this. Put your phone away. Stop thinking about what you're going to say next, and just focus on her. Listen to what she's saying. Laugh when something's funny, and enjoy the moment for what it is. When you're fully present, she feels it. And it'll create a connection that's way stronger than any line or strategy. Confine yourself to the present and watch how your relationships change. 9. You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think. Imagine this. What if you knew today could be your last? It's a heavy thought, but one Marcus Aurelius didn't shy away from. He said, you could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think. It's a reminder that life is short, and none of us know how much time we have left. Now, I know that sounds intense, but think about how it relates to your love life. How many times have you held back your feelings, waiting for the right time to tell her how you feel? How many moments have you let slip by because you were afraid of being vulnerable? Let me ask you this. Have you ever regretted not saying something? When you had the chance, maybe you were with someone, and you never really expressed how much they meant to you. Then life happened, they moved away, or things ended, and you were left wondering what might have been if you just opened up. It's a common story, and I'm sure you can relate. Let me tell you about a guy I know. He was dating this amazing girl, but he always played it cool, afraid to show too much emotion. He figured there'd be plenty of time to get serious. Then one day she got a job offer across the country and had to move. They parted ways, and it wasn't until after she left that he realized how much he cared for her. He never told her, and now it's just a what if in his mind. Here's the point. Life is unpredictable. You don't know what's coming tomorrow, so don't wait. If you feel something, say it. If you care about someone, show it. Don't let fear or hesitation rob you of the chance to create something real. When you live like today might be your last, you start to appreciate the small moments more. Every smile, every conversation, every touch becomes more meaningful. And trust me, she notices when you're fully present and open with her. So what are you waiting for? If there's someone in your life you've been holding back with, now's the time. Don't leave things unsaid. Women are drawn to men who live with passion and purpose, who aren't afraid to embrace life and love fully. You never know when you might lose the opportunity, so make every moment count. 10. If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it. Let's talk about honesty and integrity. Two things that are not only key to building a strong relationship, but are often overlooked in the dating world. How many times have you heard advice telling you to play games, to act a certain way to win her over? Maybe you've been tempted to say things you don't really mean just to impress her. Marcus Aurelius cuts through all of that with this simple advice. If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it. It's about being authentic, no matter what. Think back to a time when you might have exaggerated or told a little white lie to impress someone. Maybe you pretended to be into something just because she was. At the moment, it might seem harmless. But think about how that affects the relationship. Over time, those small untruths build up, and soon enough, you're not being your real self around her. And here's the thing women can sense when you're not being genuine. It might not happen right away, but eventually she sees through the act. I had a friend who tried this approach. He met a girl who was really into fitness, and while he liked to work out occasionally, he pretended it was his passion just to connect with her. At first it worked. They bonded over gym sessions and things seemed great. But after a while, it became clear that fitness wasn't something he could sustain at the level she was expecting. They grew apart and she felt deceived, not because he wasn't into fitness, but because he wasn't honest from the start. So, here's the lesson. Don't try to mold yourself into what you think she wants. Be who you are and be truthful in your words and actions. If something doesn't feel right, don't do it just to win her over. And if it's not true, don't say it. Authenticity is way more attractive than pretending to be someone you're not. The right person will appreciate you for who you are, flaws and all. Think about your past relationships. Have you ever tried to hide parts of yourself, fearing she wouldn't like the real you? Or maybe you found yourself saying things just to avoid conflict, even when you didn't really mean them. In the end, those small deceptions only create distance. When you're honest, truly honest, do build trust, and trust is the foundation of any lasting relationship. At the end of the day, women want a man who is real, who stands by his values, and who doesn't need to play games to get their attention. Be that man. Say what's true, do what's right, and you'll attract the kind of partner who appreciates you for exactly who you are. So there you have it, 10 powerful lessons from Marcus Aurelius that will completely transform the way you approach attraction. Remember, it's not about tricks or tactics, but about mastering yourself, living with purpose, and being the kind of man who naturally attracts the right woman into his life. With that said, thanks for watching, and until next time.